You probably know I do past life regression, past life therapy. I've been doing it for 40 years, 30 years consistently, and 20 years as a UFO investigator, which I find it all blends together. It's all connected. There is no separateness between it. So to me, it all falls into the same pot, so to speak, because I'm working with people and their problems. And they come to me now from all over the world just to have sessions. And all walks of life. I mean, I get actors out of Hollywood, I get scientists, I get doctors, I get psychiatrists, business people, people you would never think would be interested in this. But they all want to know what the answer to their problems are. Another thing we're going to have to get rid of is fear. See, we are getting ready. We're in the middle of it now. It's happening now. We are moving into a new dimension. The entire world is shifting into a new dimension, a new frequency. I think I've talked before to either here or in other groups about their dimensions all around us. We just can't see them. They're all vibrating at different frequencies. It's rather like if you saw a propeller blade or a fan blade. When it speeds up, it becomes invisible. It's still there, but it becomes invisible because it's vibrating at a different frequencies. The ETs know this because this is the way they travel. They travel from dimension to dimension by raising and lowering their dimensions. This is why they can disappear when somebody's watching a UFO and suddenly disappears into the other dimension. And then other times it'll just reappear suddenly into this dimension. That's because they are raising and lowering the vibrations of the craft to enter and go out. This is the way they travel. Okay, now the world is changing its frequency and its vibration. It's already doing it. You know things are speeding up. Everybody knows that. Time is speeding up. Everything is speeding up. And the earth itself has a tone. I've heard this tone. It's recorded from satellites in space. The earth has a tone, a frequency. That tone has changed and it is speeded up. Scientists know this. It's very definite. That this is definitely have proof that it's changing. The frequencies and vibrations of the earth are changing. As I said a while ago about dimensions, we're getting ready to shift into a totally new dimension. We have to. The earth has got to the point where they can't do anything else to help it. We're just destroying so much here that it's going to have to be a separation to move into the new frequency. And they said the entire universe is watching. This is the greatest show on earth, because it has never happened in the history of the universes before that an entire planet will make the shift at one time. Now, you know in the Bible it always talks about the new heaven and the new earth. I believe John of Pathos, when he had that vision, he was seeing a real vision. He didn't realize it was going to be thousands of years in the future. This is what he meant by the new heaven and the new earth, and the old is done away with, and the new is going to be taking over. But it is changing, the frequencies are changing, we're shifting already. You can feel it in your own bodies. Well, if you felt it yet or not. A lot of people are having physical ailments. They're going to the doctors can't find anything wrong with them, because it's not anything that they've ever experienced before. They have said the doctors are using the old information that they have been taught. They are not aware of what is really happening to the bodies now. Our DNA is being changed, the vibration rate is being changed, and we are shifting with the planet. We have to. It can't happen suddenly because the body wouldn't be able to handle it. It has to happen gradually, little at a time. And when it makes these little jumps, people are experiencing physical problems. They can be heart palpitations, blood pressure, tiredness, dizziness, muscle aches and pains, lots of different things that I've heard, but when they go to the doctor, they can't find anything wrong because it's nothing physical that they can put their finger on. But our DNA is being changed, and the ETs have been helping a lot with this. We're going to be at the point where we're not going to be sick anymore, and we will be at the point where we will never die. We are actually moving into what is called the 1,000 years of peace in the Bible. The whole earth is going to be totally different, and there's going to be many left behind. Just like the Bible says, many are left behind because they can't change their frequency and vibration quick enough to move with it. They have to be working on it now, or you're not going to move. You'll be stuck with the old earth. The ones that are deep into the negativity, they said they will be allowed to live out their lives on the old earth. But when they die, they will not come back to the new earth because the new earth will have no negativity. They will be sent to another planet that is still experiencing negativity so they can work it out. Some of them, there's just no hope for them because it's gone too far. They're too loaded down, steeped with all of these karma from past lives, and they can't get out of it. But those of you who have an idea what's happening are already making the first step to move into the new earth. Because they've said, you really don't want to be here when the worst happens. They said, if you think Katrina was bad, imagine that happening all over the world in cities everywhere. Chaos, utter chaos, and utter confusion. And people aren't going to understand. They're going to be so confused and frightened. They said, we have to be the voices of reason. We have to be the ones that know what is happening so we can be calm in the midst of the storm. And that's what a lot of these people are coming in now. The ones who are so much into the negativity they're not going to be able to help are being gotten out of here so that the new group can help to turn everything around. You might think some of this sounds bad, but it is the evolution of the earth. This is what's happening. You can't stop it. It is going. So something is definitely happening, even though we're not aware of it on the conscious level anyway. How many of you know Annie Kirkwood? She doesn't do as many lectures as she used to, but she wrote Mary's Message to the World. And we were doing lectures and panels, and we were talking about the new earth. And she said she had this vision of the earth as a solid ball. Then she saw it begin to separate and move apart the way a cell does when it begins to separate and reproduce, pulling apart like a cell until it broke apart into two earths. Over here, she heard them saying, we did it, we did it, we did it. Over here, she heard them say, poor thing, she died, believing all of that. So see, the one will not be aware of the other. And that's what they mean by those left behind, will not even be aware that anything has happened. The old earth is still there, vibrating at this lower frequency with all these terrible things happening to it, but the other earth moves into the new dimensions, vibrating so fast that it becomes invisible. So they are not aware anything has ever happened. At one of the lectures when I mentioned this, there was a man in the audience, and he came up to me later. He said, I'm an engineer. I'm a businessman. This has never happened to me before. But when you were describing that scene of the two earths splitting, he said, suddenly the whole auditorium went black, and I was in outer space, and I was watching it happen. And he said, when he got home, he tried to reproduce it on his computer the best way he could. And this is the picture that he sent us. And he really didn't want us to use his name or anything, but if you look at the picture, you can see the one overlaying it. I don't know how good it shows it. The one is brighter. It's got a glow around it. I don't know how it shows on there. The new earth is like a glowing one that is separating from the old one. But it was funny that he said he never had anything like that happen, but he saw it happening, and so he made a computer model, the picture, and he said we could use it in the book. One of the things they said, one of the main things that will hold people back from ascending and going into the new earth is fear. We're so steeped in fear. A lot of it is coming from the government. You know that. They said it'd be better off if you don't watch TV, don't watch the news, don't get caught up in the illusion. Because the more you hear about all the violence and all the bad things that are happening, amplifies it. Better off if you just didn't focus on that at all. But that, I said, do you mean by fear then, do you mean the wars and things? And they said, yes, the government with the wars and also with the diseases that they are trying to create. You keep the population in fear, then you can control it. And that's what a lot of this has to do with the drugs. And look at your TV. They try to convince you have to take a pill for everything. And they said these diseases they want you to have shots for. They do not exist, but it's all a way to promote fear. You get the population afraid enough, you can make them do anything. And you know this has been happening since 9/11. All of these new laws coming into effect that would never have happened before, all having to do with fear. And it's like, oh, great Father, protect me. And you let them do anything. But they said, you're going to have to start thinking for yourself. We have access now to instantaneous information on the computers, much more than we ever had in the past. You can have information that you would know is real. You read these things, you ask questions, make up your own mind. Don't believe what everybody is telling you. Think for yourself. Don't let fear rule your life, because if you're afraid, if fear is holding you back, you're not going to progress as we go into the new earth. And it's happening. Our vibrations are increasing. There's no way to hold it back. But some will be left behind because they can't change quick enough. Don't get caught up in the illusion of what's happening. I always tell people when I do a lecture, don't believe what I say. Don't believe what anybody else says. Think for yourself. Ask lots and lots of questions. Then make up your own mind what it is you believe. Your truth may not be my truth, but it is yours. What you believe is the most important thing.